Would you like to improve your listening skills of fast English so you can understand native English speakers the first time? Well, that's exactly what you'll do today with this lesson where I'll test your listening skills. Welcome back to Jforrest English. I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. Here are your instructions for the entire lesson. You're going to listen to me say a sentence 3 times, and you need to write down exactly what you hear in the comments. Next, I'll explain what I said, and you'll learn the pronunciation changes that take place in fast English, and you'll learn the advanced expressions that I use. So are you ready? Let's start our first listening exercise. I'll say it 3 times. You all set for the meeting tomorrow? You all set for the meeting tomorrow? You all set for the meeting tomorrow? How'd you do with that? I said, you all set for the meeting tomorrow. Let's talk about the pronunciation changes. Notice you all. I said it quickly, but I did say the individual words, you all. You all set? You all set? I will point out that in the South, in southern US, the southern states, it's very common to combine you all into one word. Do you know what that is? Y'all. I'm sure you've heard this mainly in movies or TV. Y'all ready? I personally don't say y'all because I'm not from the southern US, but it is extremely common in the southern US. For me, I simply say you all. I say them quickly, but I do say both words. You all set? You all set for the meeting tomorrow? Notice here how for the meeting tomorrow, for when it's unstressed, more of a reduced sound, a quick sound, it sounds like for the meeting. You all set for the meeting tomorrow. Now, before we talk about what this sentence means, you might be wondering about the grammar. Does this sentence perhaps look grammatically incorrect to you? Is there a word missing? The auxiliary verb are is missing. Are you all set for the meeting tomorrow? We need are as an auxiliary verb because this is a question. Grammatically, you need it. But in spoken English, native speakers commonly drop auxiliary verbs when they're only required grammatically, but they're not required to understand what the sentence means. So a native speaker does not need to hear an auxiliary verb to understand what a sentence means, and that's why in spoken English, we commonly get rid of them. So grammatically, are you all set for the meeting tomorrow? A native speaker would commonly say, you all set? You all set for the meeting tomorrow? And then to show it's a question, we can use a rising intonation at the end to show it's a question. Now let's talk about what this means. This has a very simple meaning. To be all set is simply to be ready or to be prepared. So it's asking the person if they're ready for the meeting tomorrow, if they're prepared for the meeting tomorrow. Native speakers commonly use this to ask if someone's ready or prepared to leave. For example, to leave a house, leave a restaurant, leave a hotel room, it doesn't matter where. And we'll just use 2 words with a rising intonation to show it's a question. All set? All set? I'm asking you, are you ready? All set? And then you can simply reply and say, yep, and then we'll leave.
How about you, Clarence? You all set?
All set.
All set, woman?
All set.
All set? Let's try another listening exercise. I'll say it 3 times. This report's all over the map. This report's all over the map. This report's all over the map. I said, This reports all over the map. For pronunciation, notice here, this reports, report is, as a contraction, reports. This reports all over, all over. So notice how I can link those sounds together by extending that L sound to the next word because it's a vowel. All over, all over, lover, all over. This reports all over the map. The expression to be all over the map, this means that something is in a disorganized or confused state. So the report is disorganized. The report is confusing. As another example, I could say the consultant's recommendations were all over the map. To be all over the map, which means his recommendations were disorganized or confusing. Maybe they talked about a lot of different topics and it was difficult to follow. They were all over the map.
Yeah, this firm's all over the map.
Because the internet's all over the map on that.
You know, charming, but all over the map. And
let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. Keep your eyes peeled for the turn. Keep your eyes peeled for the turn. Keep your eyes peeled for the turn. I said, keep your eyes peeled for the turn. Notice the reduced sound for your eyes, your eyes. Keep your eyes. Keep your eyes peeled for, we talked about this before, for becomes an unstressed, reduced sound for. Keep your eyes peeled for the turn, for the turn, for the turn, for the turn. Notice here the sentence starts with a verb and it starts with a base verb, which means it's the imperative verb tense. And we use the imperative verb tense to give orders or suggestions. Keep your eyes peeled. I'm giving you this as an order or a suggestion. And what does that mean, to keep your eyes peeled? This means to watch carefully or to be on alert. So if you're driving and you're following the directions, the GPS, you need to watch carefully for the specific streets so you know when to turn. That's the turn. If you're driving, keep your eyes peeled for the turn. Watch carefully, be on alert for the turn so you don't miss it and you're not late for your important meeting. This is an expression you can use in many different situations. Let's say you're editing an important document, your resume, or something you're submitting for an assignment or to a client. You might say, keep your eyes peeled for any spelling or grammar mistakes, which means as you're reviewing it, pay close attention, watch carefully, be on alert for any spelling or grammar mistakes, which is very good advice for everyone.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Are you ready to try this again? I'll say it 3 times. Can you just ballpark the cost for me? Can you just ballpark the cost for me? Can you just ballpark the cost for me? I said, can you just ballpark the cost for me? Can in this sentence is an auxiliary verb, so we pronounce it unstressed and it sounds like can you. And you can make that unstressed too and reduce it to ya, can you just. I think I did say can you, but it's very common to hear native speakers say ya, can you just ballpark the cost for me. We already talked about for. It sounds like for me, for me. Let's talk about this odd word here, ballpark. Did you notice that grammatically it's a verb? It's the main verb of the sentence, to ballpark something. When you ballpark something, it means you provide a rough estimate of something. And yes, a ballpark is where people play baseball, but we're not talking about baseball or sports at all. To ballpark something is to provide a rough estimate of something. In our sentence, it's a verb, to ballpark, but we commonly use this as an adjective. A figure, a ballpark figure. So the figure is the number, the cost, or a statistic. And if it's a ballpark figure, it means it's a rough estimate. It's not exact. It's not precise. It's an estimate, which means it's more of a range, a lower and upper range. For example, maybe a consultant is providing you a quote, an estimate on using a certain software system. And you want to know, well, how much is this going to cost my company? But the consultant can't give you an exact number at this point because he doesn't have enough information. So the consultant could say, if I had to ballpark it, I'd say $3 to $5 million. But that's just a ballpark figure. So you know it's just an estimate.
Look, just give me a number. Ballpark.
Take a guess. Ballpark figure.
Fine. A ballpark figure.
Let's do this one more time. I'll say it 3 times. Let's revisit this down the line. Let's revisit this down the line. Let's revisit this down the line. I said, let's revisit this down the line. Notice let's is a contraction for let us. Let's revisit. When you put re in front of a base verb, it means to do that verb again. Visit this again. But for pronunciation, that re is a strong sound. E. You hear that E. Revisit. Revisit. Let's revisit this down the line. And notice how let's is the imperative. Let us, let's. The imperative verb tense, again for a order or a suggestion. Let's revisit this down the line. Let's talk about down the line. This means in the future, but at an unspecified date. So it's not clear at all. You don't know when we'll revisit this, visit this again, but you know it will happen in the future, but it could be a week from now, it could be a month from now. So this is a way that a native speaker can postpone something if they don't actually want to do it. I'll do it down the line, because it's not specific on when you'll do it. It's just some point in the future. Here's another example that could apply to you. If you don't improve your English now, it could hurt your career down the line. Now notice when I say down the line, I'm not being specific on when your lack of English skills could hurt your career, but at some point in the future. It could be tomorrow, it could be a week from now, it could be a year from now. And that's why it's so important that you're here with me improving your English. Amazing job improving your listening skills. Now let's do an imitation exercise so you can improve your pronunciation and practice these pronunciation changes. So I'll say the sentence, and then I want you to say the sentence out loud and try to imitate my pronunciation, and I'll repeat each sentence 3 times. So let's do that now. You all set for the meeting tomorrow? You all set for the meeting tomorrow? You all set for the meeting tomorrow? This report's all over the map. This report's all over the map. This report's all over the map. Keep your eyes peeled for the turn. Keep your eyes peeled for the turn. Keep your eyes peeled for the turn. Can you just ballpark the cost for me? Can you just ballpark the cost for me? Can you just ballpark the cost for me? Let's revisit this down the line. Let's revisit this down the line. Let's revisit this down the line. Amazing job with this lesson. Now, if you like this lesson and you want me to make more lessons just like this, then put ballpark in the comments, because that was a really fun expression and it will help you remember it as well. So put ballpark in the comments if you want me to make more listening exercises just like this. Ballpark in the comments. And of course, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, and also subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And why don't you get started with your next lesson right now?